There we go. Hey, we're live. Hey, greetings, everybody. It's Sean Carpenter. Welcome to another episode of Carp's Corner Conversations. I'm just going to make sure we are all set on, let me change my setting here on Facebook so everybody can comment in. There we go. Hey, I'm excited to be here tonight. We were going to be here last night, but there was a little bit of delay. Let me waste no time at all and bring in my good friend, Lindsay Listansky from New Jersey. There she is.
Hello.
Yeah, super excited to have you in, Linz. Greetings. How are you?
I'm awesome. I was not so awesome last night, but I am awesome tonight. Thank you so much for pushing this back a night. I got my COVID vaccine on Monday. I thought all was well when I went to bed Monday night, not so much at 2 o'clock in the morning. So thank you for pushing this back. I feel much better. As one of your core values of having fun, I'm much more fun tonight than I would be yesterday. So thank you.
Well, let's talk about that. For the people that haven't had the vaccine, you were lucky enough, your parents, your mom kind of signed you up, and you kind of got lucky that you slid into a spot. You are considered essential there in New Jersey, but what was the experience like?
It was so great. I mean, I have to say all good things about the way that it was. From the process of registering, I was able to get my vaccine very quickly. I walked into the building, there was barely any line. Everything was very well run. Felt very, very safe. Everyone was so friendly. And you know what? They have so many volunteers, and it's almost like cheerleaders when you walk in. Everybody's so happy that you're there. And it was a really good vibe. So it was a great experience with both shots. I feel very, very blessed that I was able to get one. And I'm very excited that everybody's starting to open up much more in New Jersey. And it seems like around the country. So it's good news.
Well, Lindsay, I'm glad to have you on tonight. A little casual conversation. I just poured a beer. I think you might even have a cocktail.
Oh.
Your boys, and when I say your boys, your husband and 3 boys are out of the house.
Yes, they are.
So it's funny because I just said, if Michael Ackerman or someone like that jumps in, there's Michael.
Oh, Michael Ackerman, my friend.
Our friend Kelly Leach-Meyer over in St. Louis.
Hello.
Let me explain, guys, what we do on Carp's Corner Conversations. I've been doing this since COVID started, just kind of taking the opportunity while we've been sheltering in place, jumping on Facebook Live and sharing conversations with people that I respect and admire and have impacted me in my career and in my life. And this month, we're kind of featuring some amazing Coldwell Banker women for International Women's Month. We'll talk about that a little bit in a bit. We had Katie Day last week. Got good friend Lindsay on tonight. Got amazing lineup for the rest of the month. I'll talk to you about in just a bit. But Lindsay, first of all, why don't you just give people the quick business card, what you do now? Sure.
I am the National Vice President of Public Relations and Communications for Coldwell Banker.
Okay. And let's go back, because I always like to go back at the beginning of our conversations to the early days. Let's go back to when you were Lindsay Jacob. Okay?
Oh, my goodness.
Tell us where you were born, where you grew up.
Sure. I was born and raised in Livingston, New Jersey. I am a Jersey girl. I grew up in the same house my entire life. Bought my first house in Livingston. So up until very recent, I was all Livingston. And we actually just bought the house that we're in one town over when I found out I was pregnant with the twins. So I am Jersey through and through, with the exception of leaving for 4 years when I went to college.
Wow, that's fantastic. So you are truly, as Springsteen would sing about, you're a Jersey girl.
I am a Jersey girl, for sure.
And guys, if you're watching this, drop a comment in the comment. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Lindsay's got friends all around the country. Just let us know where you're tuning in from. So Linz, Livingston, for the people that don't really know Jersey, they either think of it as the Sopranos or
Yes.
Jersey Shore.
Yes.
Or sports fans realize that the Meadowlands is technically a New York stadium, but in Jersey, where's Livingston in relation to like the city, in relation to like maybe the airports?
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of people also just think of New Jersey as Newark Airport because they fly in and they're like, oh, okay, this is the Jersey vibe. I see what this is. So I'm about 40 minutes outside of New York City, depending on which shore you go to when you go down the shore, not the beach, if you're from Jersey, like an hour from the beach. So I'm in a great location. Before COVID, I was traveling all the time and I was like 25 minutes from Newark Airport. So access to a lot of really great things. I love our location.
That's fantastic. So, every time I come over there, what you can see when you land in Newark, what you can see when you fly into LaGuardia, and you just see kind of the shipyards and
super industrial.
Yeah. But, a couple times I've had a chance to go to Cranford and hang out with our good friend Sharon Steele and George Strauss, and I've spoken at the Westfield offices. When I come in for triple play and then Sharon drives me down, the turnpike or whatever that road is that takes you down to Atlantic City. And there's just some really pretty parts of the state that I don't think people think of that when they think of New Jersey, but it's kind of funny because New Jerseyans probably don't think so much about the city parts as they do about the amazing countries where Pine Valley Golf Club and Baltusrol and some of the amazing courses. And
it's so diverse, and people don't realize that. My husband's from Pennsylvania, so he also thought he knew what Jersey looked like. And hi, Linda. We have everything. We have the beach. We have New York City in our backyard. We have Hoboken. One of my favorite things that I look forward to every single year is going pumpkin picking. And that's like the country of New Jersey. But when you see these like rolling hills with this beautiful fall foliage, we have like everything all in one state, and it's very, very cool. I love, love, love New Jersey with all my heart. I wish our taxes were a little lower, but other than that, it's the best. We have the best pizza, the best bagels. So I'm going to brag a little bit on my state. I very much love where I live.
We got some amazing people tuning in to listen to you.
We do. Look at this crew.
You are a whisperer of stars right here. Patrick Guanzo, congratulations. Patrick just won at our company awards event today, won the Jerry White Community Service Award. So big.
Oh, congratulations.
Patrick. And by the way, Patrick and his son Andrew, I think, finished number 2 in the company last year. So fantastic. Here's an old Gem Blue friend, deep at heart.
Hi, Andrea.
Getting in. So this is gonna be a silly question, but maybe for the people who don't live there, Jersey gets all 4 seasons. I mean, clearly you get the winter.
Yes.
You have an amazing spring, and your fall season's fantastic, right?
Yes, we have it all. I'm telling you, New Jersey's the best. We have snow on the ground right now, but it was 60 degrees out. So we have the full spring where it's probably going to snow like one more time and blindside us. But yes, we very much have all 4 seasons. My husband always says he wants to move to Boston. It's a little too cold for me. I'm like, we can have it all here. We're going to stay. I like it here.
Literally, I bet. It's funny. I bet you saw like at least 10 people driving around with their tops down in their convertibles today.
My dad has a convertible, and you bet that yesterday and today he had his top down. He's that he'll put the heat on while driving in his convertible just because he can, and I love it. I think it's great. You're totally right. You know us.
That is awesome. So let's talk about your early life. Tell us about your family.
I have the greatest parents in the world. They are my best friends. And I realized that at a really young age. I know some people kind of grow into this friendship with their parents, but my parents always very much treated me like an equal, spoke to me like an adult. And I get emotional when I talk about them. I really do. They really sacrificed everything so that I could have a great life, put me through amazing school, set me up for success in every way possible. And they really are my absolute best friends, and they're part of every life every day. I mean, they're here all the time. My mom watches my son during the week when I'm working. So my family life is 1,000 out of 10. And I'm very lucky in that way. And I'm lucky that Joe has the same relationship with my parents as well. So that, I had a great upbringing. I'm an only child, which some people are like, oh, are you bummed? You don't have a brother or sister? No, I love being an only child. It probably explains a lot about me. But yeah, my family life's the best. I'm very fortunate.
Do you think that Joe has a relationship with your parents because your parents were maybe they treat him as like a second child?
Oh my God, yeah. Do you know that one year my mom gave us call it like Christmas, like Merry Christmas son and daughter-in-law card. I was like, was this on purpose or by accident? Like they totally treat him like a son. And that's probably, yeah. I mean, it's a mutual love fest. It's all respect, all love, all support. And I couldn't marry someone that didn't have that relationship with my parents. And I very much have that with his parents. When I was dating him, I saw the way that he respected his family, his grandmother, his parents. And I saw a lot of how he treated them, the way I treated my parents. And that was immediately attractive to me because that's what I really wanted in a partner.
Lindsay, tell me, are your parents New Jerseyans as well?
They are. Yep.
Yeah. So it's that kind of old school Jersey. I mean, is there Listanski's what I'm guessing?
My husband was Polish and Italian. I'm Irish and Italian in English. Yeah, they're total Jersey people. Had really also had great family lives. So I think they get a lot of their parenting style from their parents. And yeah, Italian, Irish, English. My grandfather was actually adopted. So Jacob was my maiden name. I don't know where that came from. I did like the ancestry test because I was curious. So I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
So what did little Lindsay want to be when she was little? I'm talking like when you were still single digits. Did you dream of being a princess? Did you want to be a doctor, firefighter? What'd you want to be?
I was really into diaries as a kid, and like you could see it through all like my little composition books that I still have. It evolved over the years. So I had a lot of career aspirations. I at one point wanted to be a hairdresser. At one point I said I wanted to be a veterinarian. That stuck for years. I wanted to be a poet at one point. So I had a lot of different career aspirations. I would say once I got to high school, I was very, very focused on business. I had a marketing class in high school, absolutely fell in love with it. And both of my parents are in real estate. So that was always something that was interesting to me as well. From the time I was born into Coldwell Banker. I spent a lot of time at open houses and listing appointments every day after school. My dad would pick me up and I would do my homework in an office, and then I would learn about the business. I would sit in office meetings, recruiting appointments. They called me the assistant manager, I think, from like the time that I could walk. And my very first job was stuffing envelopes and mailers for agents. So I've always been around real estate. I've always loved business. And when I had the opportunity to join Coldwell Banker, it was just complete match made in heaven. I felt like it was a dream come true.
So let's talk about your parents being in real estate. Like you said, you see it from the inside. What did they both do? Were they both agents? I think your dad was in management, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, my dad has been a manager for, I think, my whole life with Coldwell Banker, has managed several offices all around the state, very diverse areas too. And my mom has been an agent for many years as well. She took a brief break and worked at Verizon as a sales leader and then came back to real estate. But real estate has been around me forever. And then when I joined Coldwell Banker, one of the very first things I did was get my real estate license. I felt like it was really important to have that. To have the understanding of what it takes to be an agent, learn about, the language firsthand instead of just hearing it from them. So now I have my license and referral, but it was really important for me to have that as soon as I started with the brand.
So being very careful not to ask a question that sometimes is forbidden, but give us an idea of like when you were first remembering your mom and dad in the business, was that mid 90s when you were like middle school, high school, that you were kind of sort of hearing these real estate conversations happening at the kitchen table? And
younger, I have pictures of me in my dad's office from when I was 2, holding like balloons that weren't even blue. So I guess Coldwell Banker at one point may have not been blue. I would say
it could have been black and white pictures.
So I'm 34. I'll put it out there. I have 3, so I may look a little older now that I've had twins. But honest to God, like my earliest memories, I remember being really young in my dad's office, being like, "Can I answer the phones?" And I have pictures of me, as a toddler there. So it's been part of my life from literally day one.
So where I was going with that is you remember your parents being on the telephone, right? And going to a fax machine and sending contracts.
The beeper was like a big deal. I remember my dad's pager going off all the time. And I wanted to hear it and be like really cool. I'd be like, "Can I borrow your pager?"
What are some of your early memories of, we got a lot of real estate agents listening tonight. What are some of your early memories of like what the real estate industry was about? Did you get it back then? Did you kind of understand that the impact that what they got to do and how to help people?
I know that they were always helping people. That was definitely like, I got that from day one, whether it was, 30 years ago or now. I feel like my dad just instilled this kindness to others and always wanted to be a very servant leader. And I got that really young, that no matter what, and whether it was my mom or my dad, that real estate was a 24/7 business. It wasn't like, they came home at 5 o'clock, cooked dinner, and they were done for the night. There was always this work ethic that whenever someone needed me, I was going to be there for them. And I maybe didn't appreciate it as much as I do now, but I remember it. And I remember us always being supportive of whether it was my mom doing a deal or my dad having to take a call on vacation, but it was an always on mentality. And I think that's really important in real estate, right? There was certainly hard barriers where, hey, we're going to go to every one of her sports games and we're going to be there to support our daughter and we will make, things work within our schedule. But there was always this accessibility to whoever they were helping, whether my dad on the management side or my mom to her clients. And it's very much still like that today.
That's cool. So let's talk about high school Lindsay, when you kind of got that brain for business and all of a sudden you said, this is what I want to do. So give us a little insight. The high school clique that Lindsay was in, were you a cheerleader, a jock in the band? Were you a nerd, goth? What were you? What
I was an athlete, definitely an athlete. I played basketball and softball in college, in high school. And I floated. It was funny. The person that gave our 8th grade speech, like our 8th grade valedictorian in private school, which is funny because there was like 18 kids in our class. She said, she gave me like the friendliest kid in class award, but then I don't know if it was backhanded, but I still love it. She said, Lindsay is our aggressively friendly social butterfly. And like that has stuck with me. Like I am aggressively friendly. I will talk to anyone. That was me in high school, right? Whoever would talk to me, I would talk to them. And I wanted to be friends with everyone. I wouldn't say I was really in a clique, but I definitely loved sports. And that was a huge, huge part of my life growing up. Prior to high school, after high school, sports really made me who I am today, for sure.
Yeah. Do you still find yourself a sports girl with your dad, with yourself, with the people at work? I mean, how can you work with David Marine and not be a sports fan, right?
Oh my God. Yeah. We send each other house of highlights on Instagram, like daily. We're like, did you see this dunk? Did you see this kid, like school this other kid? Did you see? So yeah, sports is a big part of my life still. It's something that my husband and I share. We definitely love to watch sports together, him more than me. But yeah, it's definitely something that's carried through. And I talk a lot about coaching with my team. I think that feedback in a working environment is really important. And I talk a lot about good coaches and coaches that can coach in the moment, how to motivate someone, how to get the most out of someone. The coaches that really care will push someone when they see potential. And I use a lot of sports analogies.
Do you have anyone from your youth sports, high school, junior high school that sort of stands out as one of your favorite coaches?
My dad. Does that count?
Sure.
My dad was my softball coach for years. I actually have our 4th grade jersey. We were undefeated, 21-0, which in 4th grade is like next to impossible. We were the Diablos in softball, and it was literally the Bad News Bears team. I mean, like we had no business winning anything, but somehow we did. So my dad was a huge coach for me. And yeah, I mean, all of my I was very fortunate. I had a lot of really great coaches throughout my career and pretty much every sport that I played. I was very fortunate.
So it sounds to me like you're very coachable, though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think there's the divas and there's the all-stars that just say it wasn't about the coach, it was about me. You clearly saw the impact of a coach being, that guide and supportive, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I think everybody instilled in me, and it started with my parents, right, is like you earn your spot. I never felt like I deserved something. I remember one of my happiest days in high school is I made varsity when I was a freshman, which it was like a bucket list for me. It was a huge deal. And I remember someone being like, oh, it's because you're close with the coaches. And I was like, no, I worked all summer. Like I played with varsity every day. And I really, whether it's in work, in sports, in life, like I really do believe in earning your spot and not expecting things to come to you, and, putting in the extra training and hours and taking feedback and really focusing on, what you can do to improve. So that definitely has stuck with me my whole life. And I use that today, right? Like, if you're going for a position, my dad always says, like, you earn that. Nothing is going to come, just because you've been in a position in your job for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, like time doesn't matter. You prove that you worked for it and that you've done your time to get where you want to go.
That's awesome. So, hey, if you're just tuning in, I'm Sean Carpenter in Columbus, Ohio. You're watching Carp's Corner Conversations, just a chance for me to connect with some of my friends from around the country and share it with my friends out on Facebook Live. Talking to Lindsay Listansky, the Vice President of National Communications and PR at Coldwell Banker. I've known her for about 10 years now. Lindsay, yes. You went to high school, you went off to college. Where'd you go? What was your major, and what'd you do in college?
Yeah, I went to Marywood University in Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is a tiny little Catholic school, an hour and a half from where I live. I studied marketing. So like I said, I fell in love with marketing in high school, and I knew that was something I wanted to pursue. And that is where I met my husband. So I had classes with him all 4 years. And because it's a small school, like he was in almost every one of my business classes. And at one point he said, like a couple of years after we graduated, he's like, I remember every seat that you sat in all these classes. And I was like, I know you have a good memory, but I don't know if I believe you. And he's like, you were in the window in this class and you were here. And I was like, oh my God, you are in love with me. And he's like, what you take away from this? I'm like, you loved me. We weren't even dating then. And you remember that. So I loved college. I played soccer my freshman year. And then I hated the morning practices in the freezing cold in Scranton. So did it for a year, joined my sorority, was in student government, loved all my classes. I sometimes joke, but I'm not really joking. If I could be a student as my full-time profession, like I love school. I'm a nerd. Joe and I used to be partners in class, and he would text me and try to distract me, and I'd be like, I'm trying to learn. You do you. I like this. I like being in this classroom. So I
agreed with you when you said I would go back to school in a heartbeat. I would go back to college life in a heartbeat.
Well, yeah, I mean, the fun part of college too. Yes. Yeah, Joe and I had a lot of fun, and then we started dating our senior year officially, and then a year from the day we graduated, he took me back to Marywood and proposed to me. So Marywood is a very special place for me.
That's cool. That's cool. Did he ask you out, or did you ask him out?
He asked me out, and he also, and I vaguely remember this, we had freshman 101 our senior year. So he actually went to Temple. He's older than me. He went to Temple for 2 years, decided that wasn't for him, came to Marywood. So he should have never been in my freshman class, but because he was a transfer, he was. He saw me out at a party one night and was like, hey, we have class together. And I was like, and? He was like, oh, she's not nice. I'm never going to talk to her again. So
she's from Jersey.
Yeah, I'm a Jersey girl. I had my guard up. I was like, why is this guy talking to me? So I feel so bad that like one of his first memories is I wasn't even nice to him. But then the next year I was selling chocolate bars for my sorority. He was my best customer. I always knew that he would buy one for me. And we had this like bond over chocolate bars.
That's awesome. Very good. All right. So you graduate. Let's talk business. Then we'll talk family at the end. And by the way, at the end of the show, if you've never watched Carp's Corner Conversations, we're going to finish with an amazing Carp's Corner speed round. Put Lindsay on the spot for just some top of the brain answers. Lindsay, your first job, if I did my research right, when you left college, based on your Facebook resume, which we all know it must be updated, Markel Manufacturing.
Yes.
You were in social media for them, but
yes.
What do they do?
So I literally almost didn't take this interview, but I did, and I'm really glad that I did. So Markel Manufacturing is a recycled paper company. They take paper from around the tri-state area, and they turn it into toilet paper, paper towels, napkins, and I'm missing one paper product. Oh my gosh, I should know this. Toilet paper, napkins, paper towels. There's another paper product. I'm not thinking of it. But anyway, that was my first.
Like tissues?
Tissues, yes, thank you. So it was really cool. Like if you're a nerd and you like science stuff, like going through the plant and seeing them take all of these different types of papers and putting it in the pulper to make these products, it was very cool. We used to take kids on tours around the factory, and I'd be like, your homework that you throw out, like you could blow your nose in that. And they were like, oh, this girl is so weird. But I thought it was really cool. So I started there as their brand ambassador, and they hired me to help just with general marketing. At the time, I had done some internships where social media was just starting to emerge. It wasn't something that they taught in college at the time. And I remember in my exit interview at college, I said, there's this thing called Facebook and MySpace, and I feel like maybe you could use it for business. Like, you should think about teaching a class in this. They're like, okay, sounds cool. So I had interned, and when I was at an SEO company for a sports company before getting to Markel, I had turned a Facebook person page, because there wasn't business pages, into like a business page for us. So I pretended like I was, a business as a person page, and I used it, and we made sales from that in an e-commerce environment. So when I got to Markel, I said, we're in this like very green market. We should think about using social media. Would you mind if in my spare time at this job, I started to explore the space for us? And by the time I had left, I had basically transitioned from this kind of catch-all marketing person to a social media specialist, and just focused on Facebook and Twitter for that brand. I grew it to a pretty big following. At the time, I think we had like 25,000 fans, which then was like a lot. Was tying it in with...
For a paper company, heck yes.
Yeah, for a green toilet paper company, totally. So I was explaining to their CEO how you could run these ads where you would tie it with coupons and you could track sales. So that was really cool, because I felt like I was one of the first kind of social media managers in the space. And that was a really cool job. I loved it. I got to, tour across the country to all these green events and learn really about, all about environmental products. And it was a really cool job. I loved it. I was there for probably 2 or 3 years. And actually Joe ended up working there for a little while too, which was kind of funny.
What's kind of neat is that back then, even as young as you were, you had the vision to say it's not just about likes and followers. It's about the end result of what those likes and followers give you.
Right.
That's obviously revenue and traction and repeat and referral business, right?
Yeah, that was a big part of my interview at Coldwell Banker. So they had started to use Facebook and Twitter, and they were kind of just getting into it when I was applying, and really explaining how I was tying what I was doing to sales, I think was really attractive to them, because at that time, you had like your daughter, your niece, whoever was young in the room kind of manage your social media. And, it was all about content generation. But the fact that I was talking about lead gen, recruiting, because I had my parents at home. So I knew for my dad, lifeblood, recruiting, my mom, leads. The fact that I could speak that real estate language and translate it to the business that I was trying to enter was really valuable. And to this day, on the CBR side of the house, the Coldwell Banker Realty side of the house, I have the social media team that rolls up to me. And that's one of the very first things I see when I see an analytics report is, okay, we got this many clicks, this many impressions. That's all well and good. But like, what is this actually doing to drive our business forward? So that's an important thing, right? So whatever you're doing, it has to tie up to that overarching business goal.
So let's get us to Coldwell Banker. You leave Markel, you interview with Coldwell Banker. And by the way, if you're watching this, drop in the comments your first memory of meeting Lindsay. Because I think for me, it had to have been Gem Blue in New Orleans, I think would have been probably the first time that you didn't you just start right before that?
Yeah, you have a great memory.
So talk to me about coming over to Coldwell Banker and kind of your early days of what you did there as the digital marketing specialist.
Sure. Yeah. So I joined under David Cerroti in PR. So it's funny that I'm back to PR.
Shout out to David, good guy.
Shout out to David and David Marine also. Shout out to David, who is my mentor and one of my best friends in life.
Shout out to David with a bottle of water because he doesn't drink.
I'll double shout both of them. So I reported to David Cerroti, was doing social media. It was relatively new to him as well. And my job was just really focused on getting us up and running on different platforms, driving attendance to things like Gem Blue, driving awareness for all the great work that our agents were doing, and exploring new social media platforms as they were emerging. So, when Pinterest came out, it was like, does this make sense for real estate? The next thing would come out, LinkedIn. How does this make sense? One of the first things that I did when I got to Coldwell Banker was identify some of our, I guess at the time, like early influencers. So I put a deck together and I said, these are some people that have massive followings. They're really charismatic. They're really good people. We should leverage them. They should be in our inner circle. We should open our doors to Coldwell Banker, give them sneak peeks to things. We should allow them to, oh my God, my mom's going to make me cry.
I just realized that was your mom. I just realized that, I'm like, that's kind of cool.
She's the cutest. I have the world's greatest parents. Like I said earlier,
we're going to talk about her in a bit. Yeah.
She's the best. So, when I looked at this, I was like, I didn't know that it was an influencer program because I don't know if that was even like a thing, but that was what I did. So I said, we have this Gem Blue event. Let's give them a name. Let's give them t-shirts. Let's have them as our hype, our hype group. We're going to have monthly Google Hangouts. So we had the social squad, and that was one of the first really interactions I had with you and Andrea, who I know is on this call, and Michael. So that social squad was one of my proudest things that I put together because it helped our business, but really it helped us to identify really great people, within Coldwell Banker Network. And that grew every year. We added on people year over year. And I would say like every single person that's been in the social squad has become like literally one of my best friends around the country. I mean, it's been this awesome thing that has just continued over the last decade. So that was really cool.
So you did that for a couple of years. You built kind of a little amazing team. And then you had an opportunity. The market was kind of shifting. The brand was kind of moving around, Ryan Schneider. And I'm not sure if you, before Ryan or whatever, but then you kind of had an opportunity. Maybe it was looking back, I'm sure it's going to be another one of those, like, you're so glad you made the move, but you moved to Climb.
Yes.
And I don't know that you necessarily moved. You stayed kind of under the same roof, but Coldwell Banker made a partnership with Climb. And talk to us about that little chapter of your life where you went to work for Climb Real Estate.
Sure. So the benefit of Realogy is that, we have all of these brands, and the benefit of working at Realogy is if you want to see upward growth and you want to see it quickly, the sky is the limit. We have endless opportunity because we have so many brands to explore. And at the time I was managing all of our media, and I said to David, I'm really looking for opportunities. I had applied at a job at Century 21. It didn't work out. John Payton called me late one night and said, I have a tour of duty for you. I want you to work on a project for me, highly confidential. We're looking to launch 2 franchises. It's going to be Corcoran and Climb. Climb is this up and coming San Francisco business that we acquired. It feels like our kind of mobile agent, youthful brand. I want you to lead all of national marketing for it. So that was a really hard decision, but it was a crossroad in my career to say, I'm saying I want growth. I've raised my hand. I need to put my money where my mouth is. This is really risky. but I'm going to do it. And I had all of the confidence in all of my leadership to say they see the bigger picture here with my, where I want to grow. And if they have the confidence in me to do this job, I know that they have my back, whether this works out or not. So it was a really hard conversation with David, because David really has been from day one my mentor, and I hated leaving him, and I hated leaving that comfort. I hated leaving the relationships that I had made at Coldwell Banker. I felt like I was deserting like my brand, but I knew for my career it was the best thing that I could do to really grow very quickly. So, within that 10 months of working in Climb, it was like an accelerated master's class in marketing, because it was a very lean team. I not only learned every aspect of marketing and PR and communications, but I was in this whole new world of what filing an FDD meant and how to launch a franchise. Learning about trademarks and learning about the financial aspect of launching a franchise. So it was hands down the best decision I ever made. A testament to the fact that, Realogy really does take care of people who are driven and who are committed to doing whatever it takes to advance. And while that project got backburnered to focus more on Corcoran, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. Because when I was done with that, I had one more tour of duty where I worked on our iBuyer program, which then was Catalyst, now is RealSure. For the next 10 months after Climb, I worked on launching the revised RealSure under Ryan Gorman. That was an awesome experience. And then at the end of that, it opened the door for me to interview for the position that I'm in now, which was also nerve-wracking, because the very first round of interviews is when I found out I was pregnant with the twins. So truthfully, as a working woman, I was having a heart attack saying, did I just commit career suicide by getting pregnant? I'm like, oh my goodness, is this going to impact me? And shout out to Realogy, right? Like, they were like, it's fine. You've been here for 9 years. We know what you can do. You're going to be out for a couple months. You're going to come back. Like, no big deal. So I went through extensive.
You're a Jersey girl. Yeah.
I'm a Jersey girl. I got this. And truthfully, like, I have all the support in the world. They saw what it was like when I had Joseph. I came back. They knew that I was committed to coming back. I am forever a worker bee. Like, there was no chance of me staying home. So I was out, I came back, and it just all worked out really well. I was so happy to come back. I had such a warm welcome, not only from the team at the office, but, across all of Coldwell Banker. It was like this, digital welcome home campaign when I came back. And it was just such a good feeling to know that, the people that I had made these relationships with were really sincere and authentic. And it was a beautiful thing to come back.
Linz, I think the people watching that I can see listening, and maybe the people listening on the replay will agree with me on this, that maybe more than any other industry, although I'm biased because this is the industry I've been in for 24 years, everything happens for a reason.
Oh, yeah.
And your timing of going to Climb, think about this. I mean, had you gone to Climb March of last year and then not been able to kind of go to San Francisco and not been able to, it wouldn't have worked. And if it would have happened, halfway into your pregnancy with the twins, it wouldn't have worked. And so the timing was really perfect. So you come back to Coldwell Banker. Tell us, you introduce yourself with your title. Now tell us what the current role actually is.
Sure. So I oversee all of our public relations and our communications for both the franchise and own side of the business. So affiliate side, own side, which used to be NRT, now Coldwell Banker Realty. And that's overseeing residential, obviously luxury for Coldwell Banker Global Luxury, as well as commercial. So it's an amazing job, a very big job, but I also have the world's greatest team supporting me. So I have two fabulous direct reports, Elizabeth Cow on the communication side and Ronnie Boyles on the PR side, who both have been with the brand for decades and are just absolute powerhouses. And they're my go-to for everything. So, as a collective team of 3 over our whole department, I feel like I'm just surrounded by the brightest and most awesome women. They're a pleasure to work with. I obviously work very closely with David. I report to him again, which was awesome coming back and reporting to him again. I work very closely with Tori Keshinjay, who's our vice president of brand marketing. So I know some people laugh and say it's cliche, but we really do have a family at Coldwell Banker, and it was really easy to transition back in.
Yeah, I was going to talk about, it's funny you said it, but I had written down, you work with an amazing team, and I'm going to say some names here, not to name drop, but more to spotlight the amazing people. Obviously, you go back to your early days, working under Jim Gillespie, having that opportunity, just absolutely the godfather of our brand. Budge Husky, who's now killing it, down Southwest Florida. Yep. Charlie, and then your current team, Ryan Gorman, so impressed by what he does, more so as a person than as a leader.
He's amazing.
David Marine, Michael, amazing. Victoria, Gus, so many more that I'm probably not naming, but you got to feel like you kind of hit the lottery with that team.
It is without a doubt hitting the lottery. We have the most genuinely kind, smart, just awesome people. And, we're so lucky, but we realize we're lucky. Like, we get it. We know how lucky we have it. We really do feel like we are a family. We hang out outside of work, well, pre-COVID days, right? Not anymore. But yeah, it's definitely a family vibe. And it's every one of those former CEOs that you named were all just incredible people. I remember, Jim Gillespie used to make me putt in his office before talking to him. He'd be like, you got to get a hole in one and then we'll talk. And I'm like, you're so fun.
All right.
Fisher has been a mentor for me. Every one of those people you named, and more. We have a stacked team of talent, but just kind, really, really good people.
Yeah. And Linz, look, we got friends of ours that were blue that are now with other companies. Andrea, Linda. Listen, here's the cool thing. We've been around the business enough to know that there's some amazing people at lots of other brands. I mean, we could literally name every brand out there right now, and we know some really cool people.
Absolutely. But
we're certainly, proud of the team we have here at Coldwell Banker. Let's talk about those Gen Blue memories from back starting in New Orleans. Fingers crossed. I know everybody's out there. Fingers crossed that we're going to get together back in New York City this fall in person. What were some of your fondest Gen Blue memories? I remember a not national Gen Blue, but a local one in Tennessee, where a little girl named Lindsay gave her very first presentation.
I was so nervous. I remember
small room, and you said, "Sean, you can't come and sit in the back of the room."
No, it was like having like a family member in the room. And I remember, the first time, and it's still today, when I see you speak, I am just taken back by how fun you are, how smart you are. You always have these great themes and this great music. And I was like, there's no way he could be in the room. Like, I'm not going to compare to his presentations. I was so nervous. But you were so kind, as you always are. You're like, you're going to rock it. You were pumping me up in the back of the room. And I remember when I was done, you were just like, you were amazing. And, just having you in the room was like a friendly smile. You were nodding as I was presenting. I'm like, all right, I have one fan in this room. I could do this.
Yeah, you're great. And still
there was like, I'm not exaggerating, maybe 25 seats in the entire like breakout small tiny room. And now, we've presented to 10,000 people at Gen Blue. So it's just funny to see where we came from to now. But yes, I very distinctly remember that conversation, you making me so nervous being in there, but it worked out okay.
And what other amazing Gen Blue memories? New Orleans was great. Obviously the first New York City was unbelievable. LA the next year was unbelievable. Chicago the next year was,
my favorite part of Gen Blue was always being in the front row with the social squad. It was almost like a pep rally before the big event. It was everybody, getting together, having our shirts on, getting pumped up, getting the crowd pumped up. That's one of my favorite memories every single year, was just that like cheering squad in the front row and laughing together, hanging out at all the events, taking pictures. We've obviously always had incredible talent. We've always had incredible after parties, which are like epic.
Legendary,
yes. Legendary, right? Like the planetarium and the Museum of Natural History and Soldier Field and Universal Studios, and just being like, wait, we can go on every ride, it was just, that's like, I remember feeling like, I remember my friends even being like, you work for a real estate company and you're doing these things? Like, that's so cool. You're so lucky. But Coldwell Banker just does everything really big. And Gen Blue has always been that moment in time that just feels magical, right? You see all your best friends from around the world. You have access to these venues and this talent that is just unmatched. And it's been something that I look forward to every year. DJ Mary Mack, absolutely. Madonna's DJ was always a fan favorite. She was awesome. Yeah. Jane Lynch, and it's just been awesome.
Tom Selleck, yeah, super cool.
Selleck, I can't wait for this year. I am very confident we're going to be back in New York City. I hope so.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Hey, so listen, walk us through. You got a lot of people that only know the brand as far as the headquarters as Madison. Walk us through the life of Madison. I know it's been different the last year, but let's assume COVID's, what is it like working in the new green building, and you got all the brands there of Realogy. You're probably pulling up parking next to Ryan Snyder and Ryan Gorman and Sherry Christ, or maybe they're in a different lot, but
no, Ryan Gorman parks in the employee lot. He had a CEO space in the underground parking lot for all the executives, and he absolutely never parks there. He used to park in the parking lot and would walk in like everybody else. Same thing with when John Payton was with us. He parked in the, I have to say, leadership at Realogy is very, very down to earth. Like there is not a diva in the building. Everyone is very much, we are a flat organization. Everyone's very accessible. You walk into a meeting room, everybody's voice is welcomed in the room. Everyone's opinion matters. And that's rare, right? Like I remember being 24 years old, having unlimited access to Jim Gillespie and thinking that was odd. And then seeing the next CEO come in and having the same thing and the same thing. Ryan Schneider, same way. You see Ryan Schneider in the hallway, he's asking you about your family, you know, we'll answer your emails in a moment's notice. It is very much across the board, a very, very welcoming environment. Hey, Joe King. And yes, Ryan Gorman rides his bike, and Ryan Gorman will take meetings from his bike. And it makes me very nervous sometimes because I'm like, Ryan, you're making me nervous. Do you really want to do this? And he's like, no, I got this, because Ryan is a robot and can do all things perfect. So yeah, the headquarters is awesome. It is beautiful. We obviously haven't been there in a year, but gorgeous building, floor to ceiling windows, state of the art, everything. And then every brand had its kind of like home base. And the funny thing was every lobby was kind of this like competition, right? So Coldwell Banker for a while was like the game room. We had a shuffleboard table, we had mini hoops. You know, you'd wander over to Sotheby's and they'd have this like beautiful brown leather couch with a chandelier. You'd go over to BHG, they'd have like this funky light set and a pink chair for Sherry and, you know, branded skateboards and scooters. So it was always interesting to go to each brand and see how they did their kind of lobby.
Oh my God, I'm thinking in my head, like it's like a mall, and Coldwell Banker's the Foot Locker with Marine wearing his, and Sharper Image for Sotheby's.
100%.
Yeah.
ERA had like an old school arcade game. I mean, it was funny to walk around and try to see like everyone one-upping, and then you'd see people wander over to like our shuffleboard table and be like, you're not with our brand. Forever, Marine had the mini hoops.
But you could be if you want to talk about recruiting.
Absolutely. Marine had the mini hoops literally in the office next to him. So I'm like, doesn't it annoy you to hear the basketballs bouncing off the side? He's like, no, it's fine. I'm like, of course he doesn't mind.
That's awesome. It's, you know, like I'm sure from all the, you know, even the, you know, the cafeteria down to the security, but the vibe of the place, I think, sounds awesome.
Amazing. It was a place that you felt really proud to walk in every day. Coldwell Banker is a brand I'm proud to work for every day. It was a building that I was proud to walk in every day. I just feel like everything is so professional and well done and well run. And again, like it just comes down to the people, down to Heleva, who was at our front desk, who knew every single person's name from the first time they met.
That's awesome.
Women that worked in the lunchroom became like my dear friends. I would, you know, talk to them about their kids. Just everyone in the building was just a smiling face, happy to be there. Really good vibes all the way around.
So let's talk about this International Women's Month that we're in right now in March. Once again, I want to drop a couple names because I had Katie Day, an amazing rising star agent out of Houston, on with us last. Wendy Crane, our education director, is on next week. Kathy Shiflett, one of my mentors, one of our top agents here in Columbus, amazing real estate agent, on with us the week after that. Let me just share a couple names of some women that have impacted me and that I know have impacted the brand. Stephanie Sursland at Iowa City, Coldwell Banker Real Estate Professionals, first person that ever hired me to speak. Huge mentor of mine. Michelle Amos down at Coldwell Banker Starkville Real Estate. Lori Arnold at Coldwell Banker Apex in Dallas. Lisa Getty down at Coldwell Banker Apex, or Advantage down in Fayetteville. Lisa Rispoli.
Awesome.
Now let's go to your building. Sherry Chris, Sue Yannicone, Kate Rossi, Maureen Passerini, Terry Briggs, Jamie Duran. Man, I mean, talk about an all-star lineup of just women. That's what I think Realogy, you know, they get it. They find out who's the best. Don't care what color, what sex. Let's put them in roles and let's let them lead the company.
It's obviously a female dominated industry, but yes, we have a ton of women leaders. I think I just heard today, like our executive team is 60% women, or maybe it was our board. I forget what the stat was, but yes, a ton of females in leadership. I am surrounded by talented, strong women who really support and empower each other, right? Like you hear about these women who are like catty at work. There's none of that. It's very much like lift as you rise, empower each other. You know, Coldwell Banker with Sue Yannicone created the What Moves Her initiative. That has really taken off to incredible heights. I don't know if you've ever caught one of those, but it's a full hour of just really giving women the tools that they need on a path to leadership. whether that's any type of leadership or owning a franchise, that has been incredibly powerful. Seeing this month, there's a social tile campaign where you can promote other women, both within the brand and within the industry and beyond. And I have just seen social media flooded with just powerhouse women across the board, from our local offices up to our national leadership. And that's been a really incredible thing for us. Coldwell Banker won the Women's Choice Award. We just launched last year our inclusive ownership program, where we're really helping women to become franchise owners. So very, very committed to women in leadership, empowerment, and recognition. And just, it's been awesome.
Yeah. And, I go back to some of my core friends back in the Gem Blue days. I mean, Deborah Trapin and Heather Ostrom and Sharon Steele and,
Yes.
Andrea and Linda, and just some amazing, amazing people. I love that they're doing some cool things. Let's talk before we get to the end of the hour. Last year was kind of a weird year, but it turned out to be one of the best years ever in real estate.
Yes.
And not just for the industry as a whole, but our brand had a lot to do with that. My favorite, and we've had some amazing campaigns with Ted's the voice of Tom Selleck, but the coming home montage video, which we're now going to see kind of re-released for March Madness here in next week. And I know David Marine is in hog heaven with March Madness actually being back. Just talk to me about some of your highlights and some of the things that maybe people don't realize happened last year that made it a great year with COVID, and what the brand and Realogy did.
Sure. So, I was out on maternity leave for a lot of this. I left the office in February and came back to a whole new world. I remember being so concerned, being home and wondering what was going to happen to real estate as things were locking down. I'm like, how are we going to survive if people can't, see houses and move? And what does this mean for us? And I remember being really, really concerned for my colleagues and my industry. And then, we just, at the macro level, Realogy just reported earnings at $6.2 billion. We had a 6% year-over-year increase. We had one of the best years ever. So for real estate, somehow things just were full steam ahead. Realogy came out with incredible announcements. Coldwell Banker came out with incredible accomplishments. From a marketing standpoint, while our campaign that was originally intended to run on March Madness got canceled, the great thing is David Marine, Silton and Partners, and our entire marketing team are geniuses, and we're able to take the B of our original campaign that was going to air on March Madness and completely pivot to a Hometown Heroes commercial. The best thing about Coldwell Banker is one of our core values is home, and this was the year of home. And being able to take all of that great footage of people going home and really talking about how this has more meaning than ever allowed us to unlock a campaign that wasn't originally intended, but was a home run. Anyone talking about, hometown heroes, whether they were nurses, first responders, people that were driving trucks, people that were airline attendants or pilots, it worked out so well. It was like this perfect campaign that we didn't know was perfect at the time. And the great thing is March Madness is back this year, and it gets another shot at primetime. So we're already streaming online. You're going to see it on cable. You're going to see it on March Madness. So it ended up working out really, really great that we can reuse it. But I give a lot of credit to David, to our agency, to Tori, to be able to see what we had and to still make the highest and best use of it. And we got a lot of accolades in the industry by doing that and really focusing on, the message that mattered last year.
I'm going to go on the record for those of you that bet. Sean Carpenter is saying it here right now, March 10th, 7:48 p.m. Eastern time. A team that has blue in its uniforms will win the title.
That is actually statistically the best bet. I did a presentation 8 or 9 years ago talking about how the best wear blue, using a March Madness reference on how many times blue teams have won. So it is a very safe bet.
I like Gonzaga. I don't know if they're going to go undefeated now because they won last night, beat BYU. Hey, really quick before we get into your family, when you look at the real estate industry, is there anything about our industry that, because you're not a licensed agent, there's a lot of licensed agents watching this. Is there anything about our industry that you just look at and say, gosh, they're really good at what they do? What's the thing that when you look at the agents out there on the streets working with buyers and sellers in this challenging market that we're in, what's something that you look at, maybe the people at the corporate office look at and say, gosh, they really do this well?
Yeah, so I am a licensed agent. I just have it in referral. But the people that do it the best, Katie Day is a perfect example. Katie Day did a great job of marrying her everyday life with her business. She is constantly giving back to her community. She hustles. She's a constant content creator. But I think the people who see their job as more than just a job, and they see themselves as trusted advisors, as community leaders, those are the people that really get it, and those are the people that are successful. They're the people that are, taking COVID, for example, and instead of going door to door and trying to figure out the transaction, they're the ones making sure that people have food on the table. They're the ones making sure that they're, leading, charity efforts in their communities. We saw so many national emergencies last year with wildfires and, floods and things like that. The agents that rise up in those occasions, I find, are the ones that really we look to as leaders for our brand, and the people that are they epitomize what a real estate agent should be, right? They are the lovers and the gatekeepers and the protectors of their community and the people that they serve.
Yeah. I always talk about Coldwell Banker, the 5 T's. Nobody beats us on the 5 T's, right? Tradition since 1906. No company's been around 115 years now, right? The teamwork that we have around the country, whether it's on the franchise side or the NRT owned, the Coldwell Banker Realty side, the tools, the technology, and the training. I'm biased on the training, but
I love that. Yeah. I'm gonna steal that, Sean. That's great.
Hey, listen, let's talk about Team Listansky.
Okay.
I think when you got married, Lindsay Listansky, it's definitely you got to
LL. That's why people call me LL. I went from Lindsay Jacob to like this whole long thing. Everyone calls me LL, and it works.
So we heard how you met Joe. I think you have probably one of the coolest. It wasn't a gender reveal, but talk to me about the telling Susan Jacob.
Oh my God!
Because it became kind of viral, and it became
it went very viral, very.
And no one was injured. There was no cannon shot off. Tell us about the video reveal, and was Joe filming it?
Yes, Joe was filming it. When I found out I was pregnant, I said, my dad's going to be thrilled. He's going to be out of his mind excited. I go, but my mom is going to go nuts. We have to get this on camera so that we have this moment in time and we can rewatch it. Never expecting it to go the way that it went. I knew she'd be excited, but I didn't know she would physically throw herself on the ground in excitement. I think the only moment happier than when she had me was probably when I had my sons, all 3 of them. So, I was like, what are we going to do? So we put a frame in a dessert box, and so we brought dessert over. It's a really cool cake. Open it up. They open it up, and my dad's like, oh, this is really nice. My mom got it automatically. And I think she says, oh my God, 17 minutes.
She just kind of, yeah.
She just 1 minute. So she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And it was a beautiful video. It went viral. It's been on America's Funniest Home Videos. It's been on the Today Show. It's all over any basically pregnancy reveal mashup that you can see on social media. Coldwell Banker ended up using it in a commercial. So it was this very special moment in our home. We prayed for a long time to have my son, and it was the greatest gift in the world when it happened. And being able to share that moment with my family was very special, but having it, on camera for the rest of our life so that our kids can watch it now it's just the best.
Yeah. Lindsay, I asked you before we recorded this, about questions, you've been very blessed because you had some problems having a child, and to be blessed with 3 now very healthy boys that are just, amazing. I mean, you got to feel really, really happy about that.
So I never made the connection until recently, which is so weird that I never thought about it. But we had 3 losses before Joseph, and now we have 3 kids. So someone's like, you got your 3. You went through hell beforehand, but it was a testament to Joe and I really sticking together. And I believe a lot in God and prayer. And we are so incredibly blessed to have our 3 healthy boys. I think that we cherish them even more so because we know how hard it was to go through what we went through. And they're just delicious. I just enjoy them so much. They're such sweet, good boys, all very different personalities. The twins are as fraternal as it gets, not only from the way that they look, but the way they act. And like I said, my parents are over constantly. My mom's over every day. My dad's over every weekend. So very tight-knit family, and the boys are just awesome. And seeing all their personalities emerge is just really fun.
Now, I got to ask before we get to the speed round. So your oldest twin is technically the middle child. His name is?
Jacob, which is my maiden name.
Jacob, okay. And he was how many minutes before his brother?
1.
1 minute. So he's the middle child, I guess technically, right? Which
technically.
which by default is one of 3 boys. He's the best one.
Sure.
Yes.
He's the easiest. I will tell you, he's the easiest most days.
Yes. He'll be the most creative and the most energetic and the most salesy. Listen, that's so cool. And they all get along. They
do. You know what? Joseph, the world revolves around Joseph. Like, he really, like, everyone just fawns over him. And I said to Joe, like, I'm really worried that when these kids come, it's going to rock his world. And, you know, we moved into a new house in January. The twins came in February. The pandemic happened in March. And that was a lot for a 3-year-old to take. And he took it all in stride. He is the best big brother. We're so proud of him. He's so sweet. He has nicknames for them. He shares with them. He loves them. It blew my mind to see him grow up so quickly with them, the way that he acts with them. He's so much more mature than I expected. And this kid just has so much love to give, and to see the way that he loves the boys just makes Joe and I really proud.
And your caboose is named what?
Zachary.
All right. You couldn't go with another J, huh?
We're going to name him Jordan, believe it or not. I ordered the take-home outfit, the blanket, the thing for his wall, and then we changed it like 4 weeks before he came. I was like, that's just not the right name. He's a Zach. And he's a Zach. He's not a Jordan.
Right. That's good. That's good. Yeah. The Z is the end of the alphabet. You know, it's nice. Yeah. Nice. Okay, Linz, this has been a fun conversation. I feel like I could talk to you for hours, but I know your boys will be coming home at some point in time. They're going to want some mom time. So let's go to the famous Carp's Corner conversation speed round. Okay.
All right, let's do
it. Some questions. You can give me as long or as short of an answer as you want. Okay. Easy one to start. Favorite vacation spot?
Bermuda. I'm dying to go to Bermuda. I can't wait until the pandemic is over. I'm going. I think I'm just going to take my mom. My mom and I are going to go for a girls trip. You hear that, Suze? Me and you, girlfriend.
So have you been, or you just know it's going to be your favorite?
I've been there. It's my most favorite place in the world, besides Aruba. But yeah, I love Bermuda. I think it's a beautiful place. It's so close to New Jersey. It's a quick flight. And it's just, the water is so gorgeous. The people are so friendly. And it's just one of my happy places.
Love it. Favorite band or singer? Who's that go-to music that you're going to listen to when you need a pickup?
I love the White Stripes. Seven Nation Army is my favorite song. It like always pumps me up.
Bum, 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 bum,
I used to be my walkout music for a while at Gen Blue.
Right on. They're from Cleveland, aren't they? White Stripes?
I don't know.
Akron, maybe?
I should know that.
All right. Movie that you've watched the most?
Wizard of Oz. I literally wore the tape out in the 80s. Like, my mom had to replace it. Wizard of Oz, hands down.
Did you know that that's one of the first times I think David Marine saw me speak? It was at a Gen Blue leadership thing. It was in Jacksonville, Florida. And I did a presentation. Joe King was president of our company. And I did a presentation called Leadership Lessons from the Wizard of Oz. And it was the Elbrick Road to Success. And I took the idea of the Wizard of Oz and put it into a business standpoint. I've done it around the country. It's a fabulous presentation.
Awesome. Well, that's awesome. I need to see that. And yes, shout out to Joe King. Could we just talk about, like, Joe King is so awesome. I ran into him while I was with Climb, actually, at the home office. And I was like, I just need more of you. Like, I need to see you more often. He's such an awesome leader. He's so charismatic. He's one of our gems in our industry.
Yeah, he's a great leader and a good friend. Yeah.
He is. He's a great guy.
Good mentor for me, for sure. All right, Lance, easy one. Favorite ice cream flavor, unless you are lactose intolerant?
Nope, I'm not. Mint chocolate chip. And during the pandemic, our like guilty getaway was doing curbside pickup when like no one was going anywhere. We'd be like, put the ice cream in the trunk, close the trunk, and we'd drive away. So ice cream we ate too much ice cream during the pandemic.
Boys like ice cream?
They do. Yeah, Joseph he likes mint chocolate chip too. And Joe will eat any ice cream, but cookies and cream is his favorite. We're a big ice cream.
All right, gonna put you on the spot here with your mom watching.
Oh God.
Advice from mom or dad that you still use?
I would say advice from my mom. She believes in just a life of service to others. Like, she's very into Mother Teresa, and she makes me just be a better person and to see people, to see people's perspective, to always know that people are kind of going through things that you might not know about, to always give them the benefit of the doubt, and just that kindness at the end of the day is the best gift and something that you should give to everyone. She just holds me to a high standard of being a good person. And I think that's something that I try to keep in my heart every day, is doing something good for other people, just like she does.
Joseph's how old now?
4.
So how many times in the last 4 years have you said something and said, oh my God, I just said something my mom would have said?
Every day.
It's awesome, isn't it?
And I now look in the mirror and see a little bit of her sometimes, and I'm like, ooh, looking like my mom, which is a good thing, by the way. People mistake her for my sister, so very good thing.
Nicely done. Are you a pet owner?
Yes, we have a cat who's a rescue. His name is Rory. He has one eye. He's an awesome cat. He thinks he's a dog, and he is the most loyal pet in the entire world.
Okay, you're not so much on brand without having a dog, but we'll give you.
I know. For a while, I was like, am I going to get bullied into getting a dog because of all these campaigns we're doing?
No, that's great. He thinks he's a dog. He does. What's your ideal weekend? What would be? And it could be family, it could be getaway by yourself. What would be the ideal weekend for you?
Does sleeping count?
Sure. Yeah.
No, my ideal weekend, anything in the warm weather with my family, like, a great barbecue outside with my family, like my parents, my kids, my husband. That's like my ideal weekend, is just being outside, being in the sunshine, having good music on in the background, just easy, chill, being at home. I've become a homebody.
Just one of those long laid back weekends that when you're done on Sunday, you're like, I didn't do anything, but I'm so tired. Yeah.
Nothing to worry about. Just like a long day outside of just good stories, good food, good drinks.
That's awesome. 3 more.
Okay.
Last show that you binge watched.
Oh, my husband and I are into Bosch right now. Have you watched Bosch?
I've not, no.
It's a detective show. It's excellent. We are binging. This is one of those ones where like it's the one more and then you're exhausted the next morning and you shouldn't have done it, but you do it anyway. So that's my favorite right now. The other one that I'm waiting to come back is Billions. That was really good. I can't wait.
Okay, now I know Michael Ackerman's watching. Have you watched Ted Lasso?
No.
Oh my God. Michael Ackerman, would you please talk to your girl? Ted Lasso. You and your husband have to watch it. It's on Apple TV.
Okay.
Jason Sudeikis, he's a American football coach who goes to coach soccer in England. It's the best. 10 episodes. He won the Golden Globe. Come on.
I'm in. All right, I'm in. You convinced me.
All right, Linz. What's on your bucket list? You're only 34 years old, but what's one thing that you can share with us that's on your bucket list?
Oh my goodness.
And let's go crazier than like walking your son down the aisle at the wedding or something like that.
I want to drive a sports car on a racetrack, like all out, like a crazy sports car, and just like let loose and just fly around the track. I don't even know what kind of sports car, but like that must happen at some point in my lifetime.
I love it. All right, last question, Linz. What does success mean to you?
Personally or professionally? Just leaving the world. This is so corny, but like leaving the world around me a better place, like making an impact in a positive way around the people that I work with, my family, just leaving good in the world and bringing, kindness into people's day every day is really important to me.
That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, listen, you are off the Carp's Corner hot seat. Josh Cooper says Ted Lasso is the best. He agrees with me. I think Michael Ackerman says amazing. Yeah, for sure. And Mary says, can I hook you up? So I'm not sure what that means on hook you up.
Is it with a race car? Because if that's
yeah.
I am down. Me and you we'll go find a track. We'll speed around. If that's it, I'm in.
She's in Memphis. You can find some straightaways on I-40. Driving back to Nashville. Linz, this has been so much fun. You're one of my favorites, not just in the business, but just in life. You always bring a light to the room.
Thank you.
I like it because you are clearly, proud of your female, place, but you love getting in there with Maureen and being one of the boys.
I can be one of the boys anytime.
That's why I'm surprised to learn you're a single child, because I thought you had to have had like 3 or 4 brothers, and you just kicked and clawed your way to the dinner table each night. Super excited. I'll let you kind of leave the last words. I'll wrap it up, but any final words, and maybe how can people keep in touch with you either on social or where can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me on social. My handles are usually L Listansky, or just, search Lindsay Listansky. My one is just thank you for having me on. You are a tremendous friend and mentor to me. You've always been kind from day one. So you've become very much part of my Gen Blue family. And I would just say, I so much appreciate your authenticity. You have such a consistent approach to the way that you approach family, work, life. And I just appreciate how genuine you are and how much you give back to the industry and to the brand. I look forward every single year. I know that at some point during my birthday, I will get a video text message from you. And it's like the highlight. I get, hey, Linz, what's up? It's Carp. And it's this heartfelt message. And I know that, it's something that you do for probably many, many of your friends, but it's so meaningful to me. And it just speaks to the person that you are. You're always looking to just, bring kindness and happiness to those around you. And I love that about you. So you're a great guy, Carp. I sincerely appreciate you as my friend. And this was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hey, listen, guys, Carp's Corner Conversations, Lindsay Listansky, give her a hand, give her some hearts and some likes in the bottom corner of your screen. Next week, Wendy Crane, another amazing person from Ohio who's just killing it right now for the Coldwell Banker brand on the education side. And then Kathy Shiflett, one of my mentors and best buddies here in Columbus, Ohio. You're going to want to hear her story about what she's done in our business. Lindsay, you're the best. On behalf of everybody out there watching, love you guys. Do me a favor. Keep building relationships, solving problems, and having fun. We'll see you next week on Carp's Corner Conversations. Bye, Lindsay.
Bye.